Ladies and gentlemen, the commanding officer of Company A, Captain Aaron M. Bell.
Lieutenant Colonel LaCroix, Sergeant Major Santiago, family and friends of the Marines of Alpha Company, thank you for coming out today to show your support for the Marines in front of you. Before I go any further today, first thing I'd like to do is draw some attention to my staff. Now, the Marines that are responsible for the training of these young privates and PFCs, all these men are combat veterans. At a minimum, they've done 2 to 3 combat deployments, some many more than that. And after deploying and spending a lot of time away from their families, they could have chosen an easier duty. They could have chosen to go somewhere else, take a break from themselves, spend a little bit more time with their family. But because of who they are, because of how much they care, they chose to come here. When the students are getting up at 5 a.m., the instructors here are at 4 a.m. getting things ready. They're professional, they're experts in their trade, and they're dedicated to this job. And one of the things that I'm most proud about is just to stand among them and to learn from them every day. Later on in the ceremony, each one of them will be individually introduced. But again, the reason why these Marines were able to be trained, the reason why they're in front of you today, is all due to those combat instructors and the sacrifices that they have made to pass along those skills. Next, I'd like to address the family and the friends that came out here today. Again, I appreciate you making your way out here from across the country, showing your support for your Marine. Hey, for the Marines in front of us, this is what they signed up for. This is easy for them. They're happy to be here today. I know for the families and the friends, it's probably some mixed emotions. On one hand, you're proud of your Marine, what he's accomplished. On the other hand, to be blunt, we all know where they're headed. Within a year, most of these Marines will find their way to Afghanistan. Now, I could spend some time and talk to you about the training that they've had, how that's prepared them, the difficult hikes that they've done, the conditioning, but that's only going to do so much. The one piece of advice that I can give you, I'll maybe give you a little bit of solace, is that I can give you my word that every single one of these Marines will be taken care of. Let me share a short story with you real quick to kind of illustrate that point. Earlier in about August time frame or July time frame of 2010 in Afghanistan, there was a Marine squad out on patrol. The squad leader's name was Corporal Harris. About halfway through that patrol, the squad took enemy contact. One of the Marines, Lance Corporal Henry, was caught in the open when the enemy began to engage them. Lance Corporal Henry was shot in the leg and he fell. Corporal Harris, without hesitation, without any regard for his own life or his own safety, immediately ran out under enemy fire and threw Lance Corporal Henry on his shoulders. While he was running him back to safety as the rest of the squad was covering his movement, Corporal Harris tripped on an IED. And that IED took Corporal Harris's life. But because he was carrying Lance Corporal Henry on his shoulders, Lance Corporal Henry was thrown free. And all he escaped with was the original gunshot wound to his leg, and he lived. Now, I don't share this story with you to speak specifically about Corporal Harris. What he did was heroic and should be remembered. But there's a bigger point to be illustrated here. Every single unit that these Marines go to, every single squad that they're assigned to, there's a Marine just like Corporal Harris in that squad. There's a Marine that without hesitation will do anything he can to take care of his brother in arms. There's another Marine out there, there's a dozen Marines out there, that if your son falls, if your husband falls, if anything happens to him, they will come to his aid. I can't promise their safety, but that's the one thing I can promise you, that they'll be watched out afterward. To the Marines of Alpha Company. Hey gentlemen, like we said, today's your day. You've earned it. For the rest of your lives, you're Marine infantrymen. No one can ever take that away from you. Enjoy this day, but again, tomorrow when you wake up, start working hard. Start trying to live up to the expectations that are set for you. Remember, more than anything else, you have responsibilities to those other men in your squad. You're not just a private or a PFC, you're a thinking member of that squad. And from this day forward, until you leave the Marine Corps, every single day, you need to do what you can do to better yourself, to live up to those expectations. Again, congratulations, family and friends, thank you again.